In that passage that Marshall just read, the psalmist invites us 6 times, invites the entire creation 6 times to sing a new song to the Lord, to make a joyful noise to the Lord. And John Bell, who is a member of the Iona community and the Wild Goose Resource Group, reminds us that this song, this joyful noise to the Lord, is not just made by humans. Psalm 19 tells us that the heavens are telling the glory of God, and the firmament proclaims God's handiwork. Their voice goes out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. So we have the heavens, the sky, the earth, the creation, each day singing a new song to the Lord. I wonder, how many here have heard the dawn chorus? Have you heard the dawn chorus? Do you know about the dawn chorus? No. Do you know about the dawn? You know, that liminal time between when night is ending and morning is beginning. If you've ever been up at that time, I used to, many years, get up at that time, about 6 in the morning, depending on the time of year, go out, sit somewhere on the landscape in the dark, and watch the light change from dark, and slowly this light comes, right? Now, I know you're all going to want to do this tomorrow, so be sure you get up and get out on the landscape in the morning, because as that changes, it's kind of a magical time. You can use any kinds of adjective to describe it, but magical works. Slowly, it'll change from being very still and very quiet, and then you'll hear a bird, and then you'll hear another bird, and pretty soon there is the dawn chorus. And I was actually in my room this week, waking up, and I heard it. I heard it go from very quiet to the birds singing, and they'll sing for a while, and then they'll, I think, get about breakfast and go on with their day, right? But that is the dawn chorus, and that is the creation joining in, making a joyful noise to the Lord, singing a new song. It is the vocation of the creation to praise the Creator, and we are compelled to join in. Francis of Assisi would agree. He's the author of the hymn we just sang, All Creatures of Our God and King. He wrote that in 1224. Kind of amazing to me when you think about the whole of Christian history and theology, that in 1224, Francis of Assisi, who believed that all creatures had the ability and the duty to praise God, wrote the Canticle of the Sun, which has been turned into this hymn. And as you turn anything into a hymn, it kind of changes a little bit. So let me read some of the original texts. He writes, "Be praised, my Lord, through all your creatures, especially through my Lord, brother, sun, who brings the day, and you give light through him, and he is beautiful and radiant in all his splendor. Of you, Most High, he bears the likeness. Praise be to you, my Lord, through sister moon and the stars. In heaven you formed them clear and precious and beautiful. Praise be to you, my Lord, through brother wind, through the air, cloudy and serene, and every kind of weather, through which you give sustenance to your creatures. Praise be you, my Lord, through sister water, who is very useful and humble and precious and chaste. Praise be you, my Lord, through brother fire, through whom you light the night, and he is beautiful and playful and robust and strong. Praise be you, my Lord, through sister Mother Earth, who sustains us and governs us, and who produces varied fruits with colored flowers and herbs." That was written in the 13th century in Italy from a Christian mystic. And this song invites us to unite our voices with all creation in praise of God, both which demonstrates and helps us to discover our own oneness with creation. And when we do, we also discover our oneness with God. There just is no separation between our spirit and God's spirit and the spirit that lives in all things. And this oneness with God was something that Pelagius, a fourth century Christian, wrote. He said, "Look at the animals roaming the forest. God's spirit dwells within them. Look at the birds flying across the sky. God's spirit dwells within them. Look at the insects crawling across the grass. God's spirit dwells within them. Look at the fish in the river and the sea. God's spirit dwells in them. There is no creature on earth in whom God is absent. Look to the great trees of the forest. Look at the wild flowers and the grass of the fields. Look even at your crops. God's spirit is present within all plants as well." The presence of God's spirit in all living things is what makes them beautiful. To sing with creation is to let the very heart of the earth, the very heart of God, beat within us. So what does this mean for us? Well, I don't know about you, but I am painfully aware that Christianity has not always had a theology that would enable us to join in creation's song. Pelagius, who I just quoted, he was condemned as a heretic. We in this country know of the colonial and imperialistic theology that told us God gave us dominion over all the earth, and therefore we had permission to exploit it if we cared to. And then we have a version of Christianity I might call rapture-oriented Christians that said if things get bad, that's okay, because we're just going to leave this place anyways and go up to heaven. And then we have Teilhard de Chardin, who was a 20th century priest who was exiled and silenced for his theology that espoused this oneness with creation. And these are just a few examples of the theology. I wouldn't say the Christian theology because I think it's misguided, but the theology that has barred us from joining in creation's song. But we are the people of resurrection, so I think it's time to resurrect the sacred earth theology that has always been part of Christian theology and Christian history, as the psalmist, as Francis of Assisi, as Pelagius, as de Chardin, and many others have demonstrated. There is a Christian history and a Christian theology supported by the Bible that speaks the truth that the earth is sacred. And when we walk in sacred unity with the earth, we find God. We discover God in this oneness, and we join in the creation song of praise. A little later on in our service, we're going to celebrate communion, and I'm going to be using the Celtic Earth Mass that was written by John Philip Newell. And he wrote this liturgy for communion celebration. He describes in the introduction to his liturgy that I hear a yearning in the hearts of men and women today to pray in relation to the earth again. It is the longing to join our voices to the sound of the wind and the swelling of the seas, and to allow the prayers we utter and the songs we sing to serve the healing of the earth and the well-being of the creatures. We live at a new moment in time. It is characterized by a growing awareness of earth's sacredness. In our prayer life and spiritual practice and religious ritual, we need to find ways to nurture this awareness. This Mass, he wrote, this liturgy, is an attempt to serve this need. There is much we need to do to protect the earth, and going into that would be the topic of another sermon. But this sermon and this communion liturgy, I think, are the beginning point for this topic. Because first we need a theology, we need a foundation for understanding the earth as sacred, which is key to protecting it, it's key to growing closer to God, and it's key to a blessed life. So you are being invited today throughout this service and on into your week to sing Creation's Song of Praise, to join the dawn chorus if you're so inclined to get up and have that mystical morning experience. But there's also a night chorus. I remember one time being in the woods late at night. Actually, I was camping and being awakened by this sound, and I thought, what is that? And I finally realized it was a great horned owl, and it sounded like it was right next to me, but I think it was, out there further, and I think there were several of them, and every night I heard them talking to each other, and it was beautiful. But I bet some of you have heard the coyote chorus. Has anybody heard the coyote chorus? That can happen early in the morning. The ocean wave chorus, right? That just feeds our body. The waterfall chorus. Maybe that's your assignment. Look for some of those creation choruses that you didn't think of as a song of praise, and notice that and see how you might join in. Because this is the pathway to walking with the earth in sacred awareness, a way of letting the very heart of the earth, the very heart of God, beat within us. And from connections like this, our song, our praise creation song will burst forth from us. And what better thing to do at this time of year in the summer but to walk sacredly with the earth and to feel God's presence within and around us. So let it be so.